What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pushing the Line. It's me, Magic Bets, and my boy Mike B's Bets. I said B's, but it's B, Mike B Bets. Follow him on Twitter. Get the insight on betting. Um, we're back with another episode of college football and NFL previews for the week. And first of all, let me stop the football talk for just a second. Talk about basketball. Can I talk about basketball for a second?
Man, it's our show.
Man, I just like to give homage to the great Adrian Wojnarowski. He's retiring today, and he broke so much basketball news in the industry over the past few years that if you didn't get it from him first, it was probably a lie.
Yeah. Woj bombs. That's what they call him.
Yep.
A living legend in the basketball world.
Yes, he is.
I seen a lot of people was hurt by that. And not
I
necessarily
was
when I
hurt.
say that, I'm on Twitter. Like us. Like we're fans of people like that. When you lose significant people in the sports world, like we be hurt.
There's certain people on Twitter that you turn their alerts on, so when they post, you know something said, and he's one of those people.
Yeah. When Adam Schefter retire, I'm gonna be sick.
Mm, I don't know. Shams is all right. He ain't Woj worthy yet, but he all
No.
right.
Shams is about to be I seen today he's going to benefit the most from this because I think his contract expires after this coming up
It
NBA
do.
season.
It
He'll be
do.
a free agent, so he about to get paid.
Maybe ESPN will try to pick him up if they know what's good for him.
Hey, they better do something.
And on another note, after the last show, and you pulled point out my T-shirt, I figured that's what I was gonna start doing. I'm gonna wear different types of T-shirts all the time
I
every
was
show.
gonna say I'm a sneakerhead, so I be needing these T-shirts. I thought my T-shirt collection was dope, but I need a Warrior shirt.
Hey man, this is another one of those T-shirts that's at least 10 years old. I'm gonna start shopping at the thrift store.
Hey, you find a lot of gems at stores that people don't even think be nothing in there.
Yep. All right, that's enough of the sidetrack. Let's get on to some college football.
Do it,
Uh,
man.
let's talk about some of the key matchups of the week. We got
Finally.
number 24 Illinois versus number 22 Nebraska.
Yeah,
And
finally, we got some actual top
yeah,
25 ranked games.
not a lot of them cupcakes.
Yeah,
In my opinion, this is going to be a good quarterback matchup. You got Luke Altmaier versus Dylan Rayola. Um, Nebraska really helped themselves in the transfer portal by getting Rayola. They also got Dante Dardell from Oregon. They got Isaiah Nayer from I believe he came from he came from Texas. Uh,
hmm
he had a good sophomore year after being in Wyoming for a couple of years. But I mean, well, he was a red shirt, then he played a year. And then now he's in Nebraska, and then they got Jamal Banks from Wake Forest. So they
hmm
got a pretty good offense. Um, Illinois, yeah, they got Altmaier, but also keep an eye on Zachary Franklin.
yeah, yeah. Luke, Luke, uh, Luke Altmaier, he's a transfer from Ole Miss, and I don't know how Nebraska. Dylan Raiola, he went from Ohio State to Georgia to Nebraska. I'm
But he
glad
never
he
played it
made that
down for him.
choice, huh?
He never played it down for him.
Nah, he you know, I quit on Nebraska because I've been in I've been in purgatory for 20 years. I switched over to Florida State. I'm switching. I'm switching back. Florida State is a mess.
Well,
Florida State is a mess, man.
Nebraska with Matt Rule, that is going to be a good team to watch. But
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this state of time, when you got NIL, Nebraska's going to have to spend some money.
yeah. And I think they starting to do that, man. Just watching them these first 2 or 3 games, they look pretty good. You know, the defense has given up 20 total points in 3 games. So that got me wondering, hey, is the black shirts back? When Nebraska got the
Mhm.
vaunted defense, they had a black shirt. So we gonna see. For bettors who like odd stats and crazy things to go on outside of Black Friday, this is the first Nebraska weekday game in over 20 years. I did see that. And just for a little notes on the side. Illinois' defense ranks second in the nation with a +8 turnover margin, but somehow they got Nebraska as a 7.5 point favorite, and you are giving me a timeout signal.
Hold on. What team did you say? What was that I team?
Illinois,
Okay, you said it right this time. You said it with an S a second ago.
Illinois.
Yep,
What the hell is the damn difference?
it's Illinois, not Illinois. You know you got to stop people when they say it with the S.
Well, they should have ended that damn thing and not put that S on there.
Valid, valid. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
But no, Nebraska, this game is in Lincoln, correct? I think it's in Lincoln. They are
Yes,
seven. It is.
yes.
They're a 7.5 point favorite. I don't think they think this is going to be too high scoring because the over under is 42.5, which I could see. Both of these teams from their first 2 or 3 games, defense looks pretty good. So we're gonna see. But it's two, like you said, it's two good quarterbacks. So some got to give somewhere.
I don't know what the line on it is, but depending on what it is, if it's -180 or better, I'll probably take the Nebraska money line.
Mm,
Other than that, I have to look at it. I hadn't really looked at the spread much, but I don't know if I take 7.5 points.
well, let's see. Money line, Illinois +270.
Nope, nope. I might put it part of a parlay, but I'm not putting money on that. Not enough value.
Yeah,
All right. Another matchup. Number 11 USC and number 18 Michigan.
the defending champs.
The Trojan horse is knocking on the door of the big house. If you let them in, they just might take the big house down. Um, After struggling with Arkansas State last week in the 28-18 victory,
Mm,
Davis Warren is hitting the bench and Alex Orji is coming in. Um, People are high on Alex Orji. They think he changes the offense a little bit. He's more athletic. I'm not even sure why they even went with the Warren experiment, but it didn't work out. Then you got Donovan Edwards. He's
yeah.
not the guy that people expected him to be. All I heard from Michigan fans is Donovan Edwards going to be a Heisman candidate. Donovan Edwards this, Donovan Edwards that. They should have gave that spot on the cover of college football to somebody else. And actually, I was looking at your notes, and you're going to talk about that person later, so I'm gonna bring that back up. Keep an eye on quarterback Miller Moss and Zach Branch from USC. They're gonna be a good connection. So
This man, I think this is gonna be an interesting game. T. You know, the last time they met, 2006 in the Rose Bowl. This is their first regular season meeting since 1958. So, and remember, this is not Big Ten versus Pac-10 like their Rose Bowl game. This is an actual conference matchup now.
yeah,
So you got to keep that in mind. USC is in the Big Ten now.
and this
This
is
Michigan offense, man, has been struggling. I think the reason Davis Warren did get benched because he's got 6 interceptions already, and they just not looking good. And if you've seen the game against Texas, which most people did, this defense, they defense was pretty much could do anything they wanted last year. They not getting much of a pass rush this year, you can tell, and they just don't look good. They don't look like the defending champs that you would think they was gonna look like. And this USC defense, it was non-existent last year when they had Caleb Williams. Everybody was dropping 40 on them. But they look better this year. Vastly have improved this year. Um, so we'll see what happens, man. It's in the big house. We'll see if Miller Moss can stay consistent with what he's doing. And but this is rare. Michigan is a home dog, 5 point underdog.
yeah, and Sharon Moore might be on the hot seat if they lose.
Over under 44 and a half.
20. 22. Yeah, no. Yeah. I take the under on that. I sure would.
I don't think Michigan is going to score a lot.
Mm-mm.
I think just off the top, looking at it, Miller Moss may be the better passer than Orgy, but Orgy gives them that. What was the dude's shoelace? You remember him, the quarterback that played for Michigan? The
Denard
last.
Robinson,
There you go. Yeah, he was on the cover of the last college football game, right?
2014. I mean,
Yes,
2000.
sir.
Yeah, 2014.
I think
That
he
was him.
gives them that dynamic. And Miller Moss, even if he is the better passer, he's making too many mistakes.
Okay. It'd be an interesting game to watch. Number 12, Utah versus number 14, Oklahoma State. This is the battle of Rip Van Winkle and Methuselah when it comes to quarterbacks. You got two 7-year quarterbacks. You got Cam Rising, who committed to Texas and transferred to Utah. Then you got Alan Bowman, who committed to Texas Tech, played 3 years there, went to Michigan for 2 years and pretty much set the bench. And now
Mm-hmm.
he's in his second year at Oklahoma State.
Yeah. So Cam Rising, how long? How many? What's his? What year is this for him?
Technically seventh, technically, because he redshirted, but yeah, he's only played I think 6 years.
So Cam Rising gonna be the first player to retire from college football.
Why is that? Why not Alan Bowman? He's the oldest.
Is he? Is he?
Yeah.
So this they like the Chris Winkie of today. He was like 28 when he left college, wasn't
Rip Van Winkle and Methuselah.
he?
Oh,
So yeah, Cam Rising is coming back. He didn't play last week. He had a bad laceration on his hand. Of course, he missed last season with that terrible knee injury. So he's been banged up tremendously already. But they do get their wide receiver Dorian Singer back as well. I think that is what making Utah a 2-point favorite. Ollie Gordon, the last year's Doak Walker Award winner, the running back, he's been struggling in the run game for Oklahoma State. So they're gonna have to figure that out. The offensive line has been playing great. They have not been there has not allowed a sack this season, despite the run game struggling. So we'll see what happens, man. Oklahoma State has not had less than 35 points in a game this year. And something's gonna have to give because the over-under is 34 and a half. So if they get 35, this ain't gonna be a good game.
I look forward to it myself. Just to see them old quarterbacks play.
I ain't gonna be too much running.
Oh no, I think Ollie Gordon might get something going. If he does, then it'll be a little more interesting. But we'll move on to this next matchup. And if
Yeah.
you're getting tired of hearing me talk about this team, change
Too
the
bad.
channel.
Too bad.
This is my team, and as long as they're doing good and staying in the news, I will talk about them. Actually, if they start doing bad, I'm gonna talk real bad about them because I got that right now.
Yeah.
But number 6 Tennessee versus number 15 Oklahoma. It's gonna be the first real test for Tennessee, um, with Nico at quarterback. Uh, Josh Heupel, who won a Heisman Trophy and national champ. He did win a national championship there, right?
I believe he won one in Oklahoma. If he didn't, I
Yeah,
think Jason White came right after him and won one.
but he did win the Heisman at Oklahoma. He's
Hmm.
going home.
Yeah. The crazy part about this, like I was saying about USC and Michigan, this is a SEC matchup now. It's
Yep.
not SEC versus big. These are
Col-
not bowl games. These
College
are
football is
actual.
weird now.
Yeah, college football is weird. Um, this also something's gonna have to give because Oklahoma been struggling keeping Jackson Arnold upright. He done got sacked a lot, and that's not good because this Tennessee defense up front is for real. So he
James
gonna have,
Pierce, boy, he getting
yeah.
after it.
Oklahoma has not. I repeat, has not. You know how Oklahoma offenses usually are. They have not got over 300 yards this season yet. Meanwhile, UT almost at 500 with 478 yards a game.
And the
So,
quarterback for UT, Nico Iamaleava,
mhm,
has not really played a full game yet this season.
no, he hasn't. Now, granted, you know, as great as Tennessee look when you play these cupcake teams, that's what you're supposed to do. So they
You right.
handling their business. They saying they're gonna pay you to come here, but you're gonna take an ass whooping back. So we'll see. Oklahoma defense is allowing 11 points per game. They already have 10 turnovers on defense, which is awesome. Tennessee is averaging 8 yards per play, while the defense is only giving up 3 yards per play. UT is a touchdown favorite, a 7-point favorite in Norman. And this has an over-under of 57 and a half. I don't think this is going to be I don't think Oklahoma can beat Tennessee. If Tennessee look how they've been looking against those cupcake teams, I don't see Oklahoma staying there. I don't think they can score enough to stay with Tennessee.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Last week when the spread was 49 versus Kent State, I was afraid to touch it.
Yeah.
Spread been around 7 this week. I'm scared to touch it. This is going to be a close game. Like I said, it's Tennessee's first test. We're going to see what Nico is really doing out there because right now his toughest test has been the Iowa bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
So now how is he going to really play against this tough competition? We're going to see.
I hope it's a good game. I
It
hope it
will.
is.
It will be. It will be. Potential upsets. I got Georgia Tech versus Louisville as a potential upset. Louisville's number 19. Uh, Georgia Tech under Brent Key has been playing well the past 2 years. Last year was a balanced offense. This year is a little more pass heavy. The team goes as Haynes King, the quarterback goes. If he's
Mm-hmm.
having a good game, they're gonna have a good game. Defense is playing tough. Offensive line is doing their job. Um, Louisville should watch out because Georgia Tech's already knocked off number 10 FSU first game of the season.
Yep.
Um, and then they only lost to Syracuse by 3.
Yeah.
Syracuse is not slow. Syracuse is pretty decent this year, but they're not in the top 25 yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I went with Kansas State, number 13, Kansas State. They're going to Provo. They're going to play BYU. Uh, Kansas State, Avery Johnson, not a basketball player. Great runner. Has not passed for 200 yards this season yet. Jake, I think I'm saying his name wrong, right? Retzlaff has
Retzlaff,
been
I believe.
making, yeah, he's been making some big plays in the passing game. Kansas State, they got Tulane put their shit on them, put some big plays on them, and
Tulane good this year.
Tulane is good, and I think BYU, if they watching that video, tape of that game, they think they can capitalize off those big plays as well. BYU, their front seven has been very good, and they would try to make Johnson beat them, I believe, just throwing the ball. If they can do that, I think BYU may be able to pull this off. They have to keep it close, and they have to keep that crowd in it. And I think they may be able to do it. But although it's in Provo, Kansas State being a ranked team, being the better team, presently constructed, they are a touchdown favorite, a 6.5-point favorite with an over-under of 48.5.
I agree with everything that you said. But my take on it is if Kansas State gets up, they've got to control the game with the run game. I don't think they're going to get upset. I think if they get up, DJ Giddens and Dylan Edwards will get the ball over and over. They will keep the fresh body in. They'll keep the
Mm-hmm.
hot back in, and they'll keep running that clock until they get up out of there.
I don't think BYU will win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I know we get caught up and enamored in some of these big name schools, but BYU, they usually always have a solid football team. And somewhere in there, BYU will always play a team close, and they may either almost pull it off or they'll stay close to the end and they'll steal a game. And I think this may be one of those games for Kansas. Kansas State cannot overlook BYU this weekend.
And that's why it's a potential upset. All right, let's move on to some players to watch. We actually just got through talking about my player to watch, Nico Iama. He gonna
I
get
can't
me every
help it.
time. Nico Iama Leava, quarterback, Tennessee Vols. He's a Heisman hopeful. Right now, he's got 698 yards, 6 touchdowns. He has not played a full game yet because
Mm-hmm.
they keep getting up on these teams, and we've put the second string in, put the third string in. I think the fourth string quarterback got in last week. Um, as long as he stays consistent
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't make a lot of mistakes turning over the ball, he's going to keep his name in that race. But
Yeah.
like I said earlier, this is the first big test for them this year, and this might be his statement game, at least as of now. If he
His
goes
first
out and
game.
does, yeah, if he goes out and do what he's supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
then he's gonna keep his name in the race. If he goes out and have a bad game, it's gonna cool off a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I took Travis Hunter, of course. Why not? 30 catches already, 342 yards, 5 touchdowns, averaging almost 12 yards a catch. You know what he do on the other side. He'll shut down corner. He has an interception already. The kid never comes off the field, damn near. Um, he's everything. He's everything that you can want in a player. I believe that he right now should be in the top 3 Heisman hopeful player that you should watch every weekend type discussion.
Yep. And a little bit on Travis Hunter. We talked about this earlier in the week. When he gets to the NFL, is he gonna get opportunity to play both sides of the ball? And
Mm.
it's funny that we talked about it earlier in the week because yesterday and today, everybody else is talking about that. They need to stop stealing our material. We ain't
Man,
nobody. We ain't nobody, but I think y'all watching our show.
they gotta be. I'm trying to get paid before I choke to death over here. Excuse me, y'all.
Don't down, man. I can't finish the show by myself.
No, I'm good now.
All right.
Oh, my other player to watch. I hate this team, but the dude is the truth, man. Cam Ward, the quarterback from Miami. Hey, he'll baller, man. Second in the nation in passing yards. Got over 1,000 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception. First in the nation in QBR, 94.4. Miami look like old Miami right now. They playing real good. I hate to say that because, Florida State. Miami may beat Florida State so bad that may be the game where they fire Mike Norvell.
Yeah. See, a lot of people are kind of unfamiliar with Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his first year he was at Incarnate Word playing
Mm-hmm.
football, and then last year he was at Washington State, which is on the West Coast. A lot of us on this East Coast and Central Time, we're asleep by the time they play.
Yeah.
But he played very well last year, and then I guess some of the NIL money got him.
Yeah. Dude been in college since 2020. This ain't his first trip around the block, but I tell you what, he damn sure look good.
He could have went pro last year, but he decided to stay.
Yeah.
I guess he wanted to show what he could do against some stiff competition. So he's getting in competition this year. If he continues to play well, he'll be I'd say probably top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the Walter football mock draft. He's shooting up the draft board right now.
Okay. All right, let's hit some breakout stars. Why don't you start us off?
Let's see, breakout stars. I have some of the lesser known people. Ashton Jeanty, the running back from Boise State, second in college football in rush yards with 460 yards, 9 touchdowns, first in yards per carry with 10.2. Hand him the ball, you get a first down.
So remember when I said they shouldn't have gave Donovan Edwards that spot on the cover?
Should have gave it to him.
They should have gave it to that boy there.
That first
he
game of the season, if I ain't mistaken, I know he had like 6 touchdowns or something.
he's
He went
balling.
crazy.
He's definitely balling.
Yeah, he's a good back, man. He's a good back, man. He ain't little either.
No, it ain't.
So my other one, team went to the college football playoff a couple years back. Is Josh Hoover, quarterback TCU. He was not the quarterback then, but I'm talking about TCU. He is third in the nation in passing yards with 1,022, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He is looking good and playing his best football right now.
You know what the kicker to that is?
What's
He
that?
ain't nothing but a sophomore.
He'll be back next year.
He ain't nothing but a sophomore. Balling. All right. So for my breakout player, I agree with Genty and I agree with Hoover. And I would have said those if you did not, but I'm gonna go with Caleb Johnson, running back from Iowa.
Okay.
He is I think he's number one in the nation in rushing right now with 479.
Yep.
He's number 3 or 4 in all purpose yards, and he has 6 rushing touchdowns. The reason he's a breakout star to me though is because he's actually given Iowa, a team that is not known for offense, some offense.
Man.
He almost got more rushing yards than K McNamara has passing yards. He only about 75 behind him.
I can't remember the last time Iowa just had a crazy offense.
Have
I
they
remember
ever?
last year they was winning games like 17-10, 10-3. It was crazy.
Last year, if you bet the under on every Iowa game, you'd be up.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You be up.
All right, I'm gonna throw in a little odd stat that I found while I was doing some research this week. FSU is the first AP poll team in history to start the season in the top 10 and go 0-3 with all 3 losses versus unranked opponents.
What
I
are
can read
y'all
lips. You should have went on and said that.
what are y'all doing?
Hey, man. And this is why FSU has came up on our past few shows. Mike
Hmm.
Norvell is on the hot seat. The water is getting hot. It is starting to bubble and boil.
Yeah. I got something to say about that later.
All right, all right, all right. You sure you don't want to say it now? All right, we'll wait till later. All right.
Yeah. We'll give them something to look forward to.
All right, let's go into some hot takes. One of my hot takes is the Pac-10 is looking to add Memphis and Tulane. Uh,
Hmm.
those are their top 2 targets. They're also possibly looking at North Texas, University of Texas San Antonio, South Florida, and Texas State. They wanna do like some of these other conferences and get people all the way across the country, so
Yeah.
they'll have people all through.
I think that'll be good for some of those teams that don't never get to come on TV. You actually get to see them, and their games will actually mean something. So I think that'll be good for them.
I mean, if you compare Memphis to Vanderbilt right now, Memphis is not far from SEC material.
Mm-mm.
And then my other hot take was Tennessee is adding a 10% talent fee on top of a 4.5% increase in ticket sales. Now, aside from being a Tennessee fan, any top team that's trying to stay in the top, they're probably going to start going to this model. So the financial burden of paying these players is not so much on them because right now it's looking like it's close to 22 million a year to pay these players.
Yeah, these college kids are pretty much playing professional football right now. That's pretty much what the bottom line is, which is crazy. So you remember about 2 minutes ago when I said I was gonna make them wait for my Florida hot take, for my Florida State hot take.
Why you talking about old shit? No, run
So
it. Run it.
with Florida and Florida State struggling the way they are, like you said, Mike Norvell and Billy Napier being on the hot seat, it's a lot of names starting to pop up. We talked about it last week that the boosters are gathering the money to pay Billy Napier to get his buyout ready if Florida wants to fire him, which they probably will. Um, so one coach that I know most people are familiar with goes by the name of John Gruden. He lives in the Tampa Bay area. He recently sat down with CBS Sports and expressed his interest in returning to football, college or NFL. So be on the lookout for that.
I
What you
actually saw
think?
this. I actually saw that story right before we keyed up
Mm-hmm.
um, to record, and that's interesting. Another name that came up is a familiar name with Florida is Urban Meyer.
I
Now,
seen that.
the best thing about that, he said that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
Urban.
seen.
Do not come back.
Yeah, I seen that. I did see that. He said the ship is sailed, and you know.
I I'll tell you why Urban Meyer is not coming back. Other than he does well. Actually, it is part of it. He won't have the control that he has had in past times because
Hmm.
before the NIL era, it was, hey,
Yeah,
you're on scholarship. You do what I say, or you're gone. See,
yep.
now some of these players are more in control because they're getting paid.
Oh
You
yeah,
want to kick
absolutely.
them off the team? Cool. They'll go to another team, get paid. They don't care.
Yep. Facts, man. That's facts. It's something to think. The college football landscape as a whole has changed. Um, so getting back to the topic, man, my other one, West Virginia, 1 and 2, have been struggling recently after they lost to Pittsburgh, and you starting to hear buzz about Neil Brown, possible buyout and departure as well. So with that buzz, a lot of fans, a lot of local beat reporters in West Virginia. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Jimbo Fisher, he's from Clarksburg, West Virginia, and his immediate family also lives there. They are discussing, I guess, amongst the community, bringing Jimbo in to revive this West Virginia franchise. Well, this West Virginia school, not franchise.
That'd be an interesting move.
Very interesting.
All right. Let's move on from college football and hit this NFL. So we had a pretty good week last week watching football. Some of the things that we talked about on last week's show, it happened. Um, have a lot to look for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about some surprising teams. Um, Go ahead and start out.
So I got a overperforming and underperforming surprise team. Of course, overperforming is the Saints. You know, they averaging over 400 yards a game, 45 points per game. I mean, they look like the best show on turf part two. Derek Carr through these first two games, he just looking unstoppable. Kamara looking like he in the prime of his career. Rashid Shaheed is just going deep every play, running 9 routes, and they can't stop him. They destroyed the Cowboys. Uh, I don't know. I just think they overperforming, but it may go another week because they
I think
playing my Eagles this weekend, and the Eagles can't stop me and you from catching the ball. So,
I know why they overperforming.
why is
Um,
that?
and I know on our first show we talked about um, the Saints as being a team that wasn't doing anything in the offseason. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you not making moves? And it was because of their salary cap restrictions, because they were projected to be 80 million over salary cap. So they couldn't really
Mm-hmm.
go out and get anybody. But what they did go out and get was a new offensive coordinator,
They
Clint
did.
Kubiak, the son of Gary Kubiak, if the last name sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Once I saw what Derek Carr was doing, I wonder what changed with him. So I went to look into it. And the big difference this year is the offensive coordinator. He's getting people involved. Um, Up until this year, he hasn't really been a coordinator, but he's been a specialist for certain teams. And the last team he was a specialist for was he was a passing game specialist for the 49ers.
Yep.
And you got to think Shanahan is one of the bright minds in the game right now. So he's coming off that Shanahan tree,
Yep.
and
You can
he
see
might
it.
he might be the next bright, young, up and coming coordinator.
Yep. You can see it too. You can see it. The Saints running a lot more play action and motion, and you can see it. Derek Carr look good, man. Derek Carr look good. I just need him to get the ball to Chris Olave a little bit more from a fantasy team.
As a matter of fact, I forgot what his passing line is this week for Derek Carr, but I think it's around over 223. Go
Oh,
ahead
he
and take
gonna
that
get
bet.
that.
Go ahead
They
and take
play.
that bet right now because it's
Yeah,
gonna
they
keep
playing the
moving.
Eagles. He gonna have that in the first half. They playing the
Yeah,
Eagles. Our secondary is still trash.
take that bet.
But move on. My underperforming team. Not a slight at you, man. I just, the free agents they got, it's the Titans, averaging just 272 yards a game, 17 points per game. If I told you an offense had a new head coach in Callahan who coached Joe Burrow, if I told you they had DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, you would think they would at least average over 20 points a game. This offense ain't gelling, and I know why it's not gelling. It's the quarterback. If he don't make mistakes, if he don't make the dumb mistakes that he's making, they wouldn't be on this list because they would be 2-0. And although they are struggling, they had no business losing to the Bears. Caleb Williams didn't have 100 yards passing that game. They didn't do nothing on offense. The Bears blocked the punt, and I believe they returned the interception or a fumble. He tried to lateral it or something, and the Bears returned it. So that happened. And then he did it again this past week, and I believe they blocked the punt this week, did they not?
I don't remember. I try to forget as much as I can. And first of
And the
all,
crazy part about it, the Titans defense is like number one right now. They was talking about it, I believe, on NFL Live or something, and I heard pretty much overall the Titans have a number one defense right now in the NFL.
all right, first of all, don't forget I know where you live, so you're gonna stop talking about my team.
I ain't talking about
No, you talk about them, but you ain't gotta stop talking about them this week because I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said. Um,
them.
it's unfortunate. Being a fan of the team, it hurts because when they went into the offseason, I wasn't expecting them to do much at all. But Rand Carthon started moving pieces and things started to happen. You expected certain people to get signed in certain places, and then they were still there. And as the weeks went on, they were still there. They were still there. So we started getting players of good value at low contract prices, where it's
Yep.
not going to hurt our salary cap if they're gone next year. And once the team started coming together, it actually started looking like a team that can contend as long as we had good quarterback play. And right now, we're not contending. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't have good quarterback play. He's young. He's making mistakes. Um, he's gonna have to get it together if we're gonna win some games.
Yeah, and the thing about it, I almost went with the Eagles,
Hmm.
but I didn't because they don't look as bad. That secondary is still awful, and they don't have a pass rush. So they went out and got all this talent on defense, and it ain't none of them. And yes, I'm from Tennessee. I'm country. Ain't none of them done nothing.
Nah,
Bryce
none
Huff,
of them.
not nothing. Bryce Huff has not done anything. Devin White came in. They paid him. He don't even start. He got his starting spot took by N'Kobe Dean. He ain't did nothing. We don't have a pass rush. Kirk Cousins performed surgery on that last drive on Monday Night Football. Like it looked like he was practicing. Um, we gonna struggle because I tell you what, if we go in New Orleans this Sunday, we gonna get our ass whooped. I can see Rashid Shaheed scoring 260-yard touchdown passes right now. You're gonna see people score touchdowns for New Orleans that you'd have never thought. Joe Horn might get a touchdown Sunday if they don't get this damn defense right.
Is he gonna pull the cell phone out?
He may as well. He gonna have to call somebody to come help the Eagles because man, whew, buddy.
Struggle. Yeah, they hurting without AJ Brown. But speaking of injuries, earlier in the week we did cover Puka being out, Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
Brown possibly being out for the year. Who else you got on the injury report for this week?
I think we also did Kenneth Walker. I didn't put him on this week because of his oblique. He's still out. Debo Samuel with a calf strain. He's out at least 2 weeks. Cooper Cup with his
Ooh,
ankle. Say that again.
Debo Samuel out. Look at Jawan Jennings receiving yards. You might take the over on that.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, T love him to death, but he had to get that Tennessee person in there. He had to.
I'm
But
gonna do it every show. I'm gonna throw a name out there for Tennessee. As a matter of fact, when I started making my notes and we were talking about college football,
Oh,
I was pointing out people who were from the Nashville area, and I got to looking at it and I was like, man, this show is gonna take too long if I go over that. All right, those guys aren't making an impact. Let me just take those notes out and move on.
hey,
But
he's a
we're gonna shout
Tennessee.
out the hometown.
Tennessee through and through. I ain't got no problem with it, not at all. But that is a good play though, because Juwan Jennings is very underrated. He's very important for that offense. Like
He is. He'll
seriously.
get more targets with Debo being out.
Yeah, and he makes all the big plays, even when Debo and Ayuk are in. But yeah, Debo calf strain out 2 weeks. Cooper Cup avoided IR. He sprained his ankle pretty bad. He's out at least 2 weeks. I know this hurt my fantasy team. Isaiah Pacheco, he fractured his fibula.
Kareem
He's
Hunt's
out.
back. Kareem
Kareem
Hunt's
Hunt is
back.
back. Kareem Hunt is back. They signed him. He's out for 7 to 9 weeks. Previously mentioned AJ Brown hamstring problem out for 2 weeks. Tua, sadly, another concussion. Put him on IR. He's going to meet with neurologists. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I hope Tua's okay. Not like now, but when he's our age, he's okay, brain fully functional. But he's out at least 4 weeks. He said he's not retiring. He wants to play football. And some good news on the injury report. I know me and you talked about the Malik Willis Bowl this weekend, but it may not happen because Jordan Love returned to practice today. So we may not get it.
Don't rush him back.
And I mean, if he's not 100%, I wouldn't. But because Malik Willis didn't look bad Sunday. And finally, T. Higgins. You remember him?
I do.
Hamstring. Went through a light practice today, so he may play this weekend as well. And that is the injury report for this week. Back to you, T.
I gotta say it. You know T. Higgins is from Tennessee,
He
right?
is.
All
He
right,
is.
all right. As long as you
Tennessee.
know.
Yes, sir.
As long as you know. Marquee matchups. Ravens versus Cowboys.
You ever think you know something, but you don't know, but you used to it happen? So, and I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm saying because you might not know what the hell I'm talking about. Whenever Dallas has a real bad game and they get their ass whooped, the next week usually they come out and they look like a Super Bowl contender, and I'm very afraid of this. I do not want Dallas to blow out Baltimore and make Baltimore look bad because then you're gonna hear all that we them boys and we back and all that. So the Ravens, despite being 0-2, are number one in the NFL in total offense, total yards. Number 7 in rushing, number 4 in passing. The Cowboys, they are 1-1. They're in the top 10 in passing. They're ninth, but they're 25th in rushing. Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, they got to get the run game going. This offensive line Dallas got is not as dominant as it usually is. So that's something to pay attention to. Just looking at Baltimore, man, I think Lamar Jackson, I think he needs another receiver. I know they're trying to use Likely as a receiver, but I think he needs a bigger, dependable, reliable receiver. He could really use somebody like Amari Cooper.
To add to that, they could probably use two receivers. They need
Probably.
somebody physical,
Mm-hmm.
and they need somebody that can go underneath, kind of like the
Yeah.
Wes Welker type receiver. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
And I think they try to use Zay Flowers like that, but he has to do so much that he's rarely ever open.
I mean, he can honestly take the top off defense with his speed.
He can. He can. Um, that's something to look at. Dallas defense cannot stop the run. They too light up front, and they're about to go against probably the greatest runner since Adrian Peterson retired. I don't even think it's a probably. Greatest runner since Adrian Peterson retired, Derrick Henry, future Hall of Famer.
Dang.
So I don't know how you deal with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry running at you, but the Cowboys got to figure something out. Baltimore is a 1-point favorite with an over-under at 48 and a half.
All right. Actually, I was going to talk about this in another section, but we'll go ahead and cover it right now since we own this game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this is going to be a good quarterback duel. This is going to be won by the quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, which quarterback is going to win? Don't know. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
both of these quarterbacks need good games right now. Like you said, the Ravens are 0-2. Lamar needs to step up and make something happen. Um,
Yes.
also, you said Dak Prescott. Well, you said the Dallas Cowboys. They usually come back after a bad game and look good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good chance that Dak Prescott will be that guy.
He usually is. And in saying, let me also throw this in. Um, I said Lamar Jackson needs another receiver. Dak Prescott, I believe, needs another receiver as well.
Yep.
I really
Because
do.
they cut Gallup, or
They
did he
cut
retire?
Gallup. I think he may have retired.
Yeah, yeah. Gallup's gone.
And they got rid of Amari Cooper because they didn't want to pay him. He's in Cleveland.
Well,
Brandon
they knew they were
Cooks,
going to pay. They were going to have to pay CeeDee Lamb. Man, Brandon Cooks has fell off the past couple of years.
they need another receiver.
Get
Jake
him involved.
Ferguson, hurt. He may be back this week, but I think both of these teams struggle in third down and things of that nature. They just need another receiver.
You're right.
I really believe that.
And speaking of teams that need a win, there are several teams out there that need a win this week. Um, I was wondering what some strategies would be, or what might a team do to secure a win. And the one that sticks out to me is the Carolina Panthers.
Good
They just
luck.
benched last year's #1 draft pick, Bryce Young, in favor of Andy Dalton. They trying to spark the offense. Will it happen?
Honestly, I think the offense will look better with Andy Dalton. In my fantasy group chat, we had this discussion. So the question that you sent me was, does benching Bryce Young in favor of Andy Dalton help the Panthers? And I replied back to you, yes and no. So just to be honest about it, Bryce Young, he looked awful. He's ranked dead last, just overall quarterback play. And in my group chat, in my fantasy group chat, they kept blaming it on the offensive line. And I was telling them sometimes a quarterback, when they don't have no confidence, they leave the pocket too early, leave the pocket too soon, hold the ball too long. And according to Pro Football Focus PFF, the Panthers have a top 10 pass protecting offensive line. But at the same time, they're one of the worst in run blocking. So Bryce Young has time. Now, I don't know if y'all follow Jason Moore. If you look at the Fantasy Footballers podcast, he posted a video of Bryce Young playing the quarterback position. Bryce Young had time to throw the ball. He was missing wide open receivers, like missing them, wide open passes that me and you could probably make. He was rushing. He does not look comfortable. It's like they keep using this term that he looks broken. And I think what happened, if I had a theory, I think Canales seen the tape of this week too, because he's always said Bryce Young was his quarterback. I think he seen this tape of this past game, and that made him make the decision because he seen the receivers getting frustrated. They showed a play on red zone, Adam Thielen wide open. He got mad. He took his helmet off, threw his helmet down. Now, after the game, Adam Thielen came out and said, this is not a Bryce Young problem. This is a whole team problem. Trying to be politically correct. But you can
He
tell,
right.
yeah, he is. And that's the thing. He is right. Like this whole team it's not good. So they went out and they got him some help. They got Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh. You got Adam Thielen. You got the first round of Xavier Leggett. You got Jonathan Mingo, who was an early second round pick from last year. Miles Sanders can't get going. He keeps getting injured. You got Chuba Hubbard. You have people, but it's not getting done.
But
And
see,
I
here's the
always
problem.
go back to go ahead.
Here's the problem. It starts at the top.
That's a
David
mess.
Tepper is a horrible owner. We've seen it over and over. He fires people before they time. He doesn't keep any continuity there.
Mm-mm.
He just brought in Dave Canales. And yes, Dave Canales is going to say that Bryce Young is my QB. They just invested a number one draft pick in him, and they want to see him succeed. And I'm pretty sure Dave Canales wants to see him succeed. But like you said, he watched that tape. He realizes that is not my quarterback.
Yeah,
That is not somebody I can move forward with. He doesn't fit what I want to do. So watch out for this. If Tua does not come back this year, watch for Miami to make a move for Bryce Young before the trade deadline.
that'd be something to watch out for. I think Tua gonna try to come back. For me, man, I think I didn't think about it this way, but I was listening to Dan Orlovsky and others talk about it. I think they got to trade Bryce Young.
Yeah,
I didn't really look at
it's
it that
coming.
way.
It's
And the
coming. They go.
crazy part about it, that I'm glad you said Tepper's name. I don't know if people remember this. Something else I was talking about. Frank Reich was the coach when they had that number one pick. Frank Reich was our offensive coordinator when we won the Super Bowl with Doug Peterson. Frank Reich wanted C.J. Stroud number one. Upper management wanted Bryce Young number one. You see who left and who stayed.
Yep.
So that right there was a problem. And for a new head coach to come in, this is Canales' second game with Bryce Young. He benched him after 2 games. That says a lot. I think that's kind of the like whoa moment of the whole thing. Like 2 games and he's already getting benched. And another question that I have, Bryce Young barely played in the preseason. If you know your team ain't good, you know your quarterback is struggling. I think you need to get him as many reps as you can to get him ready for the regular season. Even if they don't help or even if they don't work, it gives you a better idea of what you can and can't do as far as scheme wise and what do I need to do to help him maximize his talent. Because right now, I don't know if they're gonna win a game.
Well, you had a whole new offense come in, so yeah, he needed reps in the preseason to see if he's going to fit that offense. You
Yep.
could have made a move earlier, if not. And look, Dave Canales was offense coordinator for Tampa Bay last year. He made Baker Mayfield look good. I mean, Baker Mayfield still looks good, and he's continuing to improve. But
Yeah.
it started with Dave Canales.
They'll miss over there, man. They'll miss. I don't. And the thing about it, once you realize what they gave up, they gave Chicago a number one receiver in DJ Moore,
Hmm.
and they gave away 3 first-round picks.
One of them, Darnell Wright.
Yeah,
One of them, CJ. I mean, it was Williams, wasn't it?
but
Did
yeah,
the,
that was
yeah,
part of that was part of it. Yeah,
yeah. And then I don't remember who the third pick was that they got, but I mean they won that trade.
definitely. Shit, hell yeah, they won. Um, man, I don't. Could Shador Sanders go there or Cam Ward or I know Carson Beck
Oh,
was pre-season. Carson Beck was preseason Georgia quarterback number one, but he ain't been looking too hot. So
I didn't
um,
look at it that angle.
I don't
Um,
know, man.
a lot of talk is Shador possibly going to New York for the
The
Giants.
Giants,
Yeah, they looking bad. Brian Dable, he needs a win.
but then again, if Carolina gave up their 3 first-round picks, do they even have a first-round pick this year?
Probably not. Probably
So
not.
they screwed, man. They are really screwed.
They might as well just trade Bryce Young, get some draft capital, and move on from that situation if they feel like it's not going to work. Now I know some of our listeners, some of the people who watch this show, they like to play fantasy football. I like to play fantasy football. Um, You got any waiver wire pickups that you look at this week?
So before I say anything about the waiver wires, I got to shout out somebody. Um, this guy, he been playing fantasy football for a while. Pretty smart dude, man. Is me. So let me tell y'all what happened. I am in 8 fantasy leagues. I won all 8 for the first time ever. I went 8-0. 3 of these leagues have weekly payouts. I got 2 of the 3 weekly payouts. I'm on the roll. Next week, this week coming up, I'll probably go 0-8. But until then, I'm telling you, I went 8-0. I won 2 out of the 3 payouts. Can't nobody tell me nothing. We can end the show right now. I don't care.
We ain't gonna end the show because I can't win shit. I'm 0-2 in my fantasy league, and I only do one fantasy league.
But,
Golly.
with that comes the other part. I'm getting my ass whooped in betting. I can't hit a bet for nothing. And you know why? And this is nothing to do with the show. This was not nothing that we needed to talk about, but I'm going to ask you. I don't know if you knew this or not. Passing yards this season is way down.
Yes, I did see
It's,
that stat.
it's costing people so much money in betting. Y'all would not believe it. When I say millions of people are losing millions of dollars because they're losing these bets because of passing yards. And if the quarterback ain't throwing the ball, guess who ain't getting a lot of receiving yards? The receivers.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, the sports books have a great idea of what's going on. That's the reason the lines are what they are.
Yeah.
So you got these people who are looking at it like, oh, he's gonna pass 300 yards in this game. Instead of betting the line of 220, oh, they
Mm-hmm.
putting it at 300. No, just bet the over under on the line and move on. You have a better chance of winning.
And the crazy part about it, T, like I'm making simple bets. Like I put Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts 200 yards passing. They ain't getting it. They not getting it. I think Jalen Hurts had 180. He had 187 or 183 because I barely missed a bet. And I had Kirk Cousins for like 225, and he only reason he got that is because they blew the end of the game Monday night. It's literally crazy.
I'll tell you what you need to do is just follow my bets this week. Last
I'm gonna do.
last week, last Sunday, I don't remember what my record was, but after all my bets settled, I was up 6.9 units.
That's
So if
not.
you were $100 better, you were up $690. If you were $10 better, you were up $69. I
I
mean,
plead the fifth on mine.
I, everybody has bad weeks. The first week, I got my ass handed to me, but then I seen a couple of trends that I went with. I was like, you know what? Here we go, and I made my money back, but
Yeah,
uh, I was playing from behind, and we were talking about waiver wire picks.
yeah,
What you
yeah.
got, man?
My bad. We got off track. We'll get back to
We do
that.
that. We do that.
My first one is Zach Charbonnet with the Seahawks, man. If you need a running back, Kenneth Walker is out, but Zach Charbonnet does well whenever he's absent. If I'm mistaken, he scored a touchdown last week. And my other one is Demarcus Robinson, wide receiver for the Rams. He got to throw the ball to some damn body. Puka's not there. Cooper Cup's not there. He's next in line. If you don't want to take a flag or wave on him, maybe try to tight end Kobe Parkinson. Matthew Stafford, man, I feel for him because he's taking a beating back there. Half of his offensive line is banged up. The Rams was a lot of people had the Rams to be a contender this year in the NFC, man, and injuries are kicking their ass right now.
I personally did not think about that Demarcus Robinson move, but last week, once I knew that Walker was hurt, I tried to pick up Zach. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
else already got him.
Yeah. Oh, today, like you said, Kareem Hunt. He may be. I don't know if he'll play this week because they got Samaje P. Ryan and I keep forgetting. Is it Carson Steele? Is that his name?
Yeah, Carson's still playing fullback. He's gonna get some touches this week.
Yeah.
Uh, but Samaj P. Ryan and him will probably be splitting carries. Now
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt would be a good pickup if you have the depth to let him sit for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, especially if you're on one of those 12 or 14 team leagues and you need somebody,
Hmm.
I will go ahead and pick him up.
Yeah. I personally don't have any waiver wire pickups that I was looking at, but I'm gonna give people my best bet instead. We've already discussed the game, which is Baltimore Ravens and the
Hmm.
Cowboys. And like you said, after Cowboys have a bad game, they sneak up on people and they play well. If they get up on the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson is going to have to pass. Right before we started to record this show, which Wednesday night, the line was 216 and a half yards.
Hmm.
So that has hit 7 out of his last 10 games. I called it at 214 and a half yards at minus 108 on Caesars. And it's probably going to keep moving up as the week go on. So if you're going to play that over bet, you need to go ahead and get in it before the line goes up. Um, so he's had 273 yards against Kansas City already. He
Hmm.
had 247 yards versus the Raiders this year. Kansas City's defense isn't as good as Dallas's defense right now, but Las Vegas defense is better than Dallas's right now as far as pass defense goes. And then Derek Carr, he just had 243 yards against Dallas.
I
So take
think
that
that's
bet.
gonna be a I think that's gonna be a good game, man. Dallas defense don't look as good this year. With Mike Zimmer. I don't know if that's just because of Dan Quinn or I know they lost a lot. Deron Bland, he's out for the season. They lost Stephon Gilmore, he's in Minnesota. I believe what's the linebacker name? He retired.
Van
Is it Vanden Bosch?
Vander Esch.
Vander Esch, there you go. He retired. Um, they lost a lot. They just don't look imposing. And I think that's the problem with Dallas as a whole. Like, yeah, I'm an Eagles fan, but we talk football. They are never consistent. That week one against Cleveland, you would have thought, man, Dallas gonna be good this year. That defense still look the same. Man, if Dak don't have to do too much, they're gonna be all right. Then they come this week against the Saints, and on both sides of the ball, they just lay a hit.
And you know
Uh,
what? It goes back to something we said earlier. And this may be a reoccurring theme on the show this year.
mm-hmm.
It all starts at the top. Jerry Jones is probably past his time. He needs to step back and just be an owner and let somebody else run the team. I know he said he got his son running the team, but that's a lie. Jerry Jones is fully involved.
And the thing about it, he can't let it go. And I'm starting to believe that he's willing to sacrifice the team just for the sake of himself. Like, bro, your team worth $10 billion. You ain't been to a Super Bowl or NFC Championship in damn near 30 years.
Your
But
last Super Bowl is on a VHS tape somewhere.
yeah, but he's the only owner always in front of the camera, man. He just always in front of the camera. Like you rarely ever hear Mike McCarthy or anybody else talking, but you always gonna hear Jerry Jones say something.
You right.
So
Let's move on to some bold predictions of possible upset alerts. Um for me, I'm looking at the Falcons to possibly take out the Chiefs. I
really,
mean, I didn't want to believe it when you said that the Falcons was going to possibly take out your team, who you believe in. But after I saw that jump that they made from week one to week two,
hmm
um, I believe they possibly can.
I think a lot of people don't because they don't see Atlanta. Atlanta has a pretty good defense. And it started to show late in the season last year. They had Jesse Bates. They went out, they got Justin Simmons. They got Matthew Judon. They still got Jared up front. This defense is pretty good. The only thing that was missing, if you want to blame Arthur Smith or whatever it is that you want to blame, but now they have a legit quarterback. And this week, Kirk Cousins under center, play action, look like the regular old Kirk Cousins. And if he can play efficient, not turn the ball over, and if he's healthy with Bijan, y'all seen how good Bijan looked on Monday night? Drake London, if Darnell Mooney can continue to give them the production that he was giving them, you got Ray McLeod. Atlanta can be a team. You know, I think Kyle Pitts, it's weird about Kyle Pitts, man. He's so talented, but for whatever reason, he just don't get the production that he needs. This team is talented on both sides of the ball.
They'll
You
get
might
him
be on to
involved.
something.
They'll get him involved. I'm gonna blame their first week one struggles on Kirk Cousins' limited time in this overhauled offense
Yeah,
and hold. Well, I wouldn't say overhauled offense. It's a new offense to them. Um, the new coaching staff had to get their offense implemented, and now everything might start to click. Kirk Cousins didn't have many reps in the preseason. He's getting
yeah.
his reps now. He's seeing live action. So as he gets used to the guys around him, he may start playing better, and they may start winning some games.
Atlanta gonna that division with the Saints and the Falcons and the Bucks. It's gonna be pretty interesting this year to see who actually come out on top in that division. Notice I didn't say the other team.
Yep. Now you mentioned with Dallas if part of their defense problem was Dan Quinn not being there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dan Quinn is in Washington. Washington has pretty much overhauled their staff. They've made some changes with their offense. They got a nice young rookie quarterback who's playing well, and they're going against the 0-2 Bengals,
Yeah.
the dysfunctional Bengals.
You said
You got a wide receiver that's a star receiver that said he's not talking long term contract anymore. You got T Higgins out. You no longer have Joe Mixon. Chase Brown is not playing like you thought he was going to play. What are you going to do?
Joe Burrow is also a slow start. I was looking today since I heard this stat today. I don't know if you knew this. I should have did this as an odd stat. In 10 games, the first 2 games of Joe Burrow's season, he's 1-9. Odd
Okay.
stat. Did not know that.
I didn't either.
Um, you actually have 2 star wide receivers that are kind of in dysfunction. One took a franchise tag to come back in T. Higgins. He wants to get paid. And the other one seeing all his contemporaries get paid, and he wants to get paid. He wants to be the highest paid. Um, Joe Burrow just got his contract. You let Joe Mixon walk. Your offensive coordinator, he left and went to the Titans. So it's a lot going on in Cincinnati. Cincinnati starts slow. We get that. You had Kansas City this week. You play well. You play better against Kansas City than you did New England. I'll say that. We're gonna have to see what they look like this week, man. Gasecki, that was a good pickup. He looked good for him this Sunday. Yoshi Vasi looked good for him. But you got a frustrated Jamar Chase, and you got to figure out how to incorporate him into this offense, calm him down, get back to playing football. Zach Taylor got a lot on his plate.
So while we're on this subject of Jamar Chase's contract,
Mm-hmm.
now there's been jokes around the league um, that the owner of the Bengals is the brokest owner in the league. Everybody else has made their money outside of football and bought their team. He inherited his team from his family, and all he makes his money from is that team.
Yeah,
And
they got one of the. Go ahead, go ahead.
what a lot of people don't realize about these high guaranteed contracts is when you guarantee so much money,
Mm-hmm.
even though that the money is coming off this year, next year, and so on and so forth, that money still has to go into escrow account up front so that player gets their guaranteed money later.
Yeah,
If
and
you ain't
if
got
I
the
ain't
money put in there,
mistaken,
you done. You done.
I think Cincinnati has one of the smallest stadiums in the NFL too. I believe so, and he's not one of those owners that pays people early. So And another thing that I forgot to mention, there's a lot of rumblings around Cincinnati. I think it was frustrating T. Higgins. They were saying that he's not injured. He's just not playing because he didn't get his contract. I guess they think this is a way of him paying back Cincinnati for not giving him a contract. He had to actually come out and speak on it. And he said it was kind of frustrating that people think that he would just not play. And he's like legit injured. So Cincinnati is a mess, man. They're a mess. I know a lot of people at the beginning of the year, Joe Burrow healthy. This team gonna make some noise. Right now, they ain't making no noise.
They turned
They
into the
need this
Bungles.
game. They need this game.
Yeah, they turned
And
into the Bungles again.
Washington, Jaden Daniels is looking good. So and he's gonna be a problem, man. Once he learned how to get the wide receivers and the tight ends, because Zach Ertz looked good last week. I want to see him get this connection with McLaurin so bad.
Me too, because McLaurin's on my fantasy team.
Yeah, and McLaurin, for those of y'all that don't know, Buckeye, he is a good receiver, man. He is a good receiver. He's had 1,000 yards damn near every year, and every year he got a different quarterback. Terry McLaurin is a good receiver. I didn't draft him for this purpose, but yeah. We're
Scary
going to see,
Terry.
though. That's not going to be an easy game for them.
I'm looking forward to it.
So what you got? Oh, I don't know if you've seen this because we was talking about betting. I play these. Last week we was talking about having fun when you betting. Yes, we bet. We have fun betting. We actually know what we're doing, even though I've been getting my ass whooped lately. But, every now and then you place a bet. And the bet was every team on the 12 o'clock game to kick a field goal. It happened last week, except in one game. And it was the Giants game that Graham Gano got hurt. He cost people so much money. They actually interviewed one of the guys from I forget, his name is JD. And if y'all don't know, I think he's in the Kappa Collective group. And they actually interviewed him because he told people to play that. Now, granted, I play this bet every week. It's one of my favorite bets. I play that. I play each team. I pick the game, like the Ravens and the Cowboys coming up this Sunday. Each team will score a touchdown and a field goal in each half. If you think it's going to be a high-scoring game, that's something that I would play. That team was the only team that did not kick a field goal Sunday, and he cost so many people so much money. They
That
said it
would
was
hurt my
over $20
feelings.
million.
See, the books get their money, and I always tell people to make sure you sure when you do one of those promo bets, because all of those promo bets are traps.
Yeah, and I be playing them, but I've hit them. That's the crazy part. If you put it on the right game, you can hit it. Now, tomorrow, Thursday night, you got the Jets and the Patriots. Do you think that both teams can score a touchdown and a field goal in each half? I don't. I wouldn't play it on that game. I don't think tomorrow would be too much of a high-scoring game. I wouldn't play it.
What was
But,
your No, I was gonna say what was your upset though?
what did I have? The Cardinals beating. Damn it, T. I went away from it.
I
Yeah, the Lions. They play the Cardinals. It's an upset alert. So I don't think a lot of people pay attention to the Cardinals. They rarely ever come on TV. They just beat the hell out of the Rams, though. So both of these teams are top 10 in total yards. They both have playmakers all over the field, every position that you can think of. Defensively, they rank 13th and 14th in yards per game. Both of these teams play in the dome, and they both play fast. So they're like mirror images of each other. Jared Goff ain't been looking too hot. They haven't got Sam Laporta in the offense, and I think that's because they've been trying to get Jameson Williams in the offense. So if you feed one, you got to starve the other. So this game, this would be one that I would play the touchdown field goal bet on. I'm thinking like 34-31 this game.
As long as they get Marvin Harrison involved, it's gonna be some scoring.
And this is also something that I've been going back and forth with. I got Marvin Harrison on one of my teams. Do you think Marvin Harrison really had a good game last week?
He had a good quarter.
Thank you. That bothers me. If he had that over the whole game, it wouldn't bother me. It was the fact that pretty much in the first 5 minutes of the game, that was Marvin Harrison. He never caught another pass. Now, granted,
But
Kyler Murray did try to throw him a back shoulder touchdown, and the communication wasn't there. Trey McBride, I got him on my. Trey McBride is, if you don't know who he is, you better get to know. He's one of the best tight ends in the game. Young. Uh, he got Dortch involved. He got Michael Wilson involved. Kyler Murray is a playmaker. I think Marvin Harrison, I think he's going to come along.
he will. But once you're up like they were after what he did, they don't have to play the same strategy. They went ahead and got other people involved. They didn't have to get Marvin Harrison involved anymore.
Yeah. Only thing about it, man, I know Kyler Murray said it's not his job to get in the ball. I wish he didn't say that. But that first quarter, it damn shows his job to get him the ball. I want them to get this right, man, because that Cardinals offense, James Conner, when James Conner's healthy, he'll run over people. James Conner is a good running back. Trey McBride, you got one of the top tight ends. You got Marvin Harrison. You got Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray may, outside of Josh Allen and maybe Jalen Hurts, and you making throw Patrick Mahomes in there, one of the best playmaking quarterbacks ever. Patrick Mahomes don't really just run around as much as they do. He running around the pass. Like they running around the Jalen Hurts almost had 100 yards rushing Monday night. So I think that's gonna be an interesting game, man.
And you know what? I hate I interrupted you and made you move to this part of the subject because you were talking about the Patriots game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did take an early bet on the Patriots game as far as props go.
Yeah.
I took Jacoby Brissett under 168 and a half passing yards, and I took him also under 29 and a half passing attempts.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna throw that much.
He
I
won't.
think I think it's gonna be a Ramondre Stevenson game.
Yeah.
I think Brees Hall gonna have a pretty good game. Braylon Allen,
He looked good.
he looked good. Youngest player in the NFL, if I ain't mistaken.
He came in when Brees got hurt last week and had that reception out of the backfield and kept them going.
Yeah, yep. And I don't know what Aaron Rodgers' passing yards is. If it's anything over 200, I would probably take the under in that.
Both both had low passing yards.
Yeah,
Um, and actually, if I remember correctly, when I was doing my research, both lines were above what they've had in the past two games. So both of them are good to look at. I'm gonna throw you an odd stat that I'm gonna throw you a couple of odd stats that I found this week.
mm-hmm.
The Giants are the first team in NFL history to score three touchdowns, not give up a touchdown, but lose in regulation. Austin
Mm-hmm.
Seaver went 7-7 on field goals.
That was a crazy game. The Giants was just they nah. But I will
They,
say this:
they're laughing stock.
they got a hell of a receiver in Malik Neighbors.
Hmm.
He is a hell of a receiver.
They got they got a decent receiver in. Here we go. Tennessee again. Jalen Hyatt. He's decent, but he's not Malik Neighbors. Get them boys the ball.
Wandale Robinson is good.
Wandale Robinson out of the
Devin
University of
Singletary
Kentucky.
can catch the ball out the
Yeah,
backfield.
get them boys the ball. Well, I guess you got to have a quarterback to do that.
Exactly.
All right, another one that I ran across was the Saints have scored on every offensive possession this season.
And they're gonna continue that this week.
Man.
You
Offense
know,
look
one
good.
thing about my team, man. I know a lot of people think I be joking. I love my teams. I'm diehard about my team. But one thing I won't do, I'm not naive. If they not playing well, I'm gonna tell you.
As
And
a
that
fan,
secondary, it ain't been fixed. That secondary is not fixed. It's just not. The, the reason that it looked so good that year that we went to the Super Bowl, that I'm really starting to think, and I'm maybe I should have thought about it then. We almost broke an NFL record for sacks that year. So if you don't have time to throw, you don't put as much pressure on your secondary. Now you got rid of Hassan Reddick, and he ain't signed with the Jets. The Jets and the Eagles both need Hassan Reddick because ain't neither one of them getting the pass rush that they normally get. Uh, Josh Sweat, he's not really getting back there like I thought he would. You know, Jalen Carter, Jordan
he look good.
Davis.
Jalen Carter
Yeah,
look good. He's getting a
yeah,
few pressure.
Jalen Carter is gonna be good. Jordan Davis is gonna be good. I think they okay with the run. It didn't look like it because Bijan was running all over their ass, and Josh Jacobs was too. But I think going just straight through the middle, I think they'll be okay. On the edges, nah.
Needs some help.
Offensive line still look good though, but I don't see us beating the Saints the way they're playing right now. We have trouble with motions and play actions, as you've seen. So that's going to be another tough game for Philadelphia, and we don't have AJ Brown.
And you know what? I'm glad you broke that down the way you did because as a football fan, having a love for a certain team, you have to be real with yourself and real with your team.
Got to. There's no point of me sitting here. I know how talented we are. I know we got talent all over the field, but that ain't nothing but names. If you don't go out there and do what you're supposed to do, and shit don't mean that just make the disappointment worse. So they got a lot to clean up. I know new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. I don't really have no problem with the offense. I wish Saquon would have caught that pass. I'm not gonna malign him for that. Yeah, if he'd have caught that pass, we would have won. It's that simple. I get it. But at the same time, to just let Kirk Cousins come down and do that in damn near 30 seconds, that's crazy.
Man, you know what? I had a parlay going and I missed that parlay. The odds on it was plus 666. I missed that parlay by zero point 0.5 completions by Kirk Cousins. I just
Mm.
needed one more completion. I would have hit that bet. My feelings is hurt on it. But anyway, anything else you want to hit on before we get out of here?
No, man, just as usual. Listen to the podcast, like it. If you got anything you want to ask us, send it to us. Our link tree is up. Remember when you betting, of course they tell you, I'm gonna tell you, bet responsibly. Have fun. Betting is supposed to be fun. Don't stress out over it. Don't stress out over your fantasy football team. I know everybody hurt. We all going through it. Get on the waiver wire. Just do what you got to do. Set your roster. Don't even look at it no more.
I don't even know why you telling people not to stress because all that gray in your beard, I can tell you got 8 fantasy football teams.
But you know what? When I tell people this, Monday night after the football game go off, I get on the waiver wire for every team. Whoever I need, whoever got hurt, I do what I got to do for all 8 of them. The waivers come in late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. After that, I set my team. If I got somebody playing on Thursday, I check it again, either Saturday night or Sunday morning. I let it roll. I let it roll. It ain't nothing I can do. It ain't like if somebody if Pacheco is hurt, it ain't like I can go get Bijan and put him in that spot. It is what it is. Draft good, put your bets in, let that shit go, man. This is fun. It's football season. Have fun.
And I'm gonna give you a little tip also. If you are gonna bet an NFL prop, once that Monday night game is over, start doing your research for the next week. Get your prop bets in a little early because the line is gonna keep moving during the week. By the
Mm-hmm.
time I post my bets for everybody the day of the game, the lines don't move. I done already caught the best odds and the best line.
Yep. That's it,
But
man.
but other than that, like he said, man, our link trees will be in the description. If you need a referral for a sports book, it'll be on those links. If you need any of our social medias, it will also be in those links. Hit us up if you got questions. Other than that, we'll probably holler at you Monday or Tuesday night.
Oh man, y'all be
We
cool.
out.